Quentin Lake, Tom Brady's LFG, sixth-round pick of the year. You finished fourth season for the Rams. You're a safety, you're a captain, you love anime, all these things to talk about. Welcome back to the show. Why are you smiling so much at the GOAT?
You know what? It's crazy because when you get recognition like that, that is like a really heartfelt moment. Tom's one of the best players, and then for him to be able to recognize me and then kind of interject his own little genius scouts. They miss it sometimes, and then he was a sixth-round pick too, so a little connection there, but it was awesome to hear from him.
We have so much to talk about. I saw when I was scrolling just to get ready for this interview. I mean, you had an incredible season, so much to talk about. But
Yeah.
you were part of the press conference, which I thought was that's so freaking cool.
I have a crazy story about that,
Tell
actually.
me.
So usually, obviously, I think the owner of the 49ers was there, and their higher up representatives
Okay,
were there.
hold on. Let's so people who don't know. So every year the Super Bowl gets you have your Super Bowl year, it gets handed over. So Jed York, of course, they did such a great job in the Bay Area, different cities, different governing bodies working together to have this incredible Super Bowl week that we're all blessed to be a part of. And then there's a press conference to sort of launch the welcoming of it to Los Angeles for Super Bowl 61. It's a huge honor. You're on stage with the most important people in the process. And now tell me what happened.
So you're on stage with the commissioner, lieutenant governor, all these, really, important people, right? And one of the Rams people from Player Affairs hit me up and he was like, "Hey, are you going to be out for Super Bowl?" And I was like, "Yes." He was like, "Do you want to go to this press conference?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of tired. I did a lot during Super Bowl week. I just want to come home with my two dogs too. So then I'm like, you know what? I talked to one of my good friends. I was like, I can't pass up this opportunity. It seems like it's a good one. Before that, I asked Kyron, because he was at Super Bowl week. I was like, hey, he was like, yeah, you're staying, you're going to be there Sunday and Monday, right? I was like, how do you know about this? And they had asked him. He said no. And then they asked me, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what it is. But it was a great opportunity. It was a great opportunity, and I'm glad I did it because, not only that, the Rams, they chose me to represent them, and that's a huge honor. It's a really big honor to be able to go out there and represent them. Hopefully I represented them well. But it was a fun experience.
Take that, Kyron. I think you did an incredible job, and it is a big deal, and it is an honor to represent your team, and maybe you guys will be playing in the Super Bowl in your backyard again, which would be unbelievable. And I wouldn't put it past you because you guys were likely the second best team in the NFL this year, and it must have been heartbreaking.
Everybody said the NFC Championship was the Super Bowl, and
I know.
I think that was a little bit true.
How are you feeling about all of that? If you sit here, you watch the Seahawks win the way that they won, and then it's like, yeah, we were really great, though. And
I didn't watch the game.
Oh, really?
No, I was watching Night at the Museum while the game was going on. I was like, okay, I was watching a movie. I turned on that halftime show, got jiggy a little bit, did my little dance. We were dancing. Me and my girlfriend were dancing in the in the living room.
Were you watching and checking the score at least? While you're watching Night at the Museum, Ben Stiller's doing his thing, but you're like, oh, it's 9-zip. No,
I mean, he was doing his thing. Ben Stiller was. I would check this. Yeah, I was checking the score.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the game.
But you've seen highlights, I'm sure. You have no thoughts on the game?
You can't. This is the thing I hate about social media. You can't avoid it.
I know.
You just go on and you scroll, and then you see Seahawks world champions and this and that. This is the one thing I'll say: the two teams that made it, the Seahawks and the Patriots, they were meant to be there. I'm not gonna sit here and say what if. They were meant to be there. It was tough because you always, as a player, when you're so close, you have this what if factor. What if we made it? What if we did this right? What if that was us on the stage, or that was us holding the Lombardi trophy? You get that for a couple days, and then after that, you're like, man, I'm just ready to go to work because it's another great opportunity. And the last time the Super Bowl was in Los Angeles, great things happened to the Los Angeles Rams. So who knows? Who knows? And we got our guy back, too. We'll talk. I know we're going to talk about that.
Yes, we are. You were injured in the first game against the Seahawks. I thought you might have, hate watched it. I like that you didn't watch it, but I wonder how much of that has to feed into, that it is the Seahawks. And then, what does that do to you that they did win as far as getting to work and wanting to do what you can to play in Super Bowl 61 in your backyard? So you missed the first game. You didn't, you didn't play in the second. Oh, no, you're back for the NFC Championship. So you missed the two. How much do you hate them?
Surprisingly, I don't hate them as much as the Niners. Um, I've had respect. I have a little bit of I have more respect for them just because they play hard, and I know some guys over there. Obviously, Ernest Jones, Cooper Kupp. Those are guys that I've been close with, guys that I've shed blood, sweat, and tears with on the field, and been able to talk to, and obviously went against Cooper Kupp multiple times in practice. So there was no bad blood at all. I mean, I don't have that same feeling. It's just more so, hey, I'm just disappointed it wasn't us. Everybody and this is the thing too. You get a lot of external hey, from friends, families, acquaintances, that should have been you guys. You guys should have been in there. And then you start thinking it's just everybody says you guys should have been in that moment. And that's when the overthinking comes because you hear all these other close people to you saying it should have been you. And you're like, dang, did I let them down? Did I let the people that poured into me the most down? And I don't necessarily think that's the case because I believe we gave it our all. But at the same time, it's there were people were hoping that it was us.
It's complicated for you. You're going to hate that I'm saying this, but I guess how do you feel about me saying this? That if, you miss those games, if you play in the second game, you win.
Yeah, it was a snowball effect. But I
won't
say
that.
But
you specifically.
I will not say that. Okay,
see, I kind of think I like that. If you play in the second game, I think you win, and then guess what happens? You get home field, and then maybe it plays out a lot differently. And
I know. But
that elbow.
This is the thing.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Whoa,
but I mean, how does that feel? How do you feel about me saying that? Because there's a world where that's true. That what if?
You would hope that obviously I feel like I have a good effect on the game, and I feel like I am a game changer. But at the same time, you look at that Thursday night game and whatever week it was, we were up 13. We were up 30-14.
Yeah.
I feel like our guys went out there and battled hard, and in that game, football's all about momentum. And I will say, sneakily, the play of the game was the 2-point conversion, where nobody that play, honestly, that Zach Charbonnet made, one of my former teammates in college, when he touched the ball and they called that a conversion, that play needs to be studied because I feel like there was a whistle blown.
Oh, let's see if we can pull it up. Control.
I know we have to pull that up.
Okay, well, look, we'll get it.
I feel like that, and then when Shaheed returned the punt return for the touchdown, those two plays for me were the biggest momentum changes. And like I talked about before, football is all about momentum. So.
And you don't affect those plays?
Could talk about.
You think that comeback happens if you're on the field?
I would hope not. I mean, I would do everything in my power to not let that happen.
So it's basically your fault at the Rams.
No. But you never know. We talk about what ifs. Like you said, could have had home field advantage, could have been the number 1 seed, could have had the bye. You never know.
It's all ahead of you. That's what I think. Know good quarterback play. And I want to talk a little bit about Drake May and how this O-line, from the highlights you've seen and couldn't avoid even though you didn't watch it, the O-line couldn't protect him. He looked sort of like everything was sped up, he looked a little dazed. We know they were bringing pressure, unexpected pressure. What else? What did you notice sort of about the way that the defense were able to stop Drake May?
Yeah, they just had a plan. I think one of Drake May's biggest attributes was, his deep throws down the field. And I know a lot of the Seahawks players talked about it is when you can eliminate that, his best throw, it makes it tough. And they were doing a lot of things of showing different pressures and being able to make Drake May read the field. And I know Mike McDonald talked about it in his press conference. If you can stop the run in 2 high safeties, it's honestly vital now in our game. We're in a passing league now where these quarterbacks are so good and they're so pinpoint accurate and they have such big arms. So you want to keep 2 safeties back to protect the explosive plays. There's a new study now. It's if you have the most explosive plays in a game, you usually win. And two high safeties kind of eliminates that. But if you can also stop the run in that, that's huge. So you kind of are playing defense in a chess match, and I think that's what they did. They utilized different pressures. They had the nickel pressuring, doing different stunts, and it was really cool Obviously, I didn't watch the game, but hearing it, it was cool to hear how they attacked Drake May, who I thought was one of the better younger quarterbacks in the league this year. Obviously.
Yeah, and how do you see Sam Darnold, having played him, gone against him? There's going to be a big how should he be viewed? How should that go? Like how do you view him?
I mean, he's just steady. He's consistent. He's been consistent. I mean, this game really showed that, no matter how bad it can be, no matter what situation you are in, if you get a good group around you, get good coaching, and just are able to have people believe in you, you can go out there and win a world championship. And I think that's exactly what Sam Darnold did. I know he was emotional after the game. That's one thing I did see. But all those emotions, they're rightfully so. He's been through so much, been on different teams. People doubted him. People were clowning him for all the play, and then he was able to do that.
Is he feared? I guess is my question.
If you're talking about like Matthew Stafford feared, no.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, I don't think. He's a great quarterback. I'm not trying to. He's a world champion. You cannot. He's a Super Bowl champion quarterback. You can't take that away from him. But personally, I've seen what fear is, and I go against a Hall of Fame quarterback every single day. So, and that's a different level of, you have to be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you don't have to do that. I'm not saying you don't.
That?
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen. Caleb who?
Williams.
I think in a couple of years, yeah.
But in a couple, you're just not willing to give it to. I think I would say he is. As a fan, I'm watching to see he at any moment.
I'm not saying you don't, but these are the quarterbacks I'll say
Okay.
These are the quarterbacks that you're like, oh my gosh. Matthew Stafford, one. I'm not going to actually make it in order. Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. I'll put Joe Burrow. And on it, yeah, that's it. That's
no longer Aaron.
I mean, if you were to say Packers, Aaron Rodgers, and it's funny because Aaron can do it too.
He's 42 and on the Steelers and not running, so not Packers.
Different Aaron age, Rodgers. But he still has it mentally. He still has it.
Mentally, he still has it. So you kind of need to have all of it. And then who's on your watch? Give me two guys on your watch list.
Quarterback wise?
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, obviously.
Yeah.
What he was able to do in this year was incredible. And then
it's almost like who's a killer. That's the way I look at it as a fan.
Yeah,
I'm like, who's a killer? And it's all the guys you mentioned. And then
there's a couple guys. You put Sam Darnold, Baker, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts. But if you're talking about guys that
you don't have a killer in your division outside your own quarterback, sounds like.
I mean, nah, not really. Compare. It's just I'm spoiled.
I get it. It's just hard to define as a fan. But I'm like, no, you're a killer. You're not. I went to Chicago.
Stuff Stafford says he's a killer.
He is, yeah.
He's a killer.
Yeah, 100%. Stafford's back for the 2026 season, which I love. He's on top of his game, of course. MVP, that must have been so cool to just sort of watch happen. Yeah. There's legacy, there's Super Bowl, first ballot gold jacket vibes. The 2025 Rams team was so good. What do you want to see to make sure that this 2026 Rams team is playing in Super Bowl 61?
Yeah, finish what we couldn't do this past year. That's it. I mean, I'm going to start doing it for everybody else because everybody in the building knew how close we were, and we felt like it, if there were a couple of things that we did better, it would have been us in Super Bowl 60. So I'm more so doing it really for Stafford, for Coach McVay, for Devontae, for all these older guys.
What?
Honestly, because we know Devontae's story, what is he, 0-5? I was like, man, I felt so bad. It's more so doing it for them because awful. As for Stafford, you don't come back just for 1 year just to be if he were to win MVP next year, it wouldn't really, it'd be cool, but you want to hoist the Lombardi. That's the reason why you come back is to win a world championship. So that's one of the main reasons I'm doing it, and really to show everybody that we can be world champions.
Yeah.
And that we're the best team in the NFL.
I love it so much. You guys got to get Durant and Cam Curl figured out. That's the answer I'm looking for.
We have a lot of moving parts this offseason.
You guys got a lot of money to spend there. Two first-round picks, by the way. You're going to be loaded. You're going to be loaded in 2026.
Yeah, you got to figure out Puka, too.
I don't know how to figure it. But Puka,
Ooh.
I don't even know how to talk to that Puka. At Super Bowl, I was just like, he is a lot. He has a lot of energy.
What do you mean by that? I need to hear it. Yeah.
No, he's just like very genuine, very authentic, a football player, like obsessed with it. He's he's a Red Bull. He's a Red Bull, and Devontae Adams is a decaf coffee.
Yeah, I think you need that though.
Yeah, 100%. No, I'm obsessed. I love everything about it. Okay, we're in a break right now. We have the play I want to show you. Hamilton, can you pop on and take us through it? So you think it was blown dead and it shouldn't have counted, right? Let's say, Hammy, talk me through this. Hammy's on. This is my intrepid producer.
Okay.
What do you got?
All right, let's pull it. So they ruled this a backwards pass from Sam Darnold after a review, and the whistle blew because they thought it was an incomplete pass. But what the ruling was because Charbonnet recovered it in the end zone, that it still counts as a touchdown because it was a clear recovery in the end zone. So if the ball wasn't in the end zone and he picked it up and ran it into the end zone, it would have been blown dead where he picked it up. But because he picked it up in the end zone.
I'm saying, did they blow the play dead, right? Before he picked it up? That was my...
I believe there was a whistle, when that ball hit the ground.
So that's exactly my point. You know how many plays I've stopped or I haven't continued on because they always this is like football. This is the golden rule of football. Play until the whistle. Yeah. So if the whistle's blown, how can you? That's my thing. That's my only like. If the whistle is blown,
it's a weird play.
You continue? But we're talking about a game that. Yeah, it is what it is.
So this changes the entire course of the season, Quentin.
Yeah.
I was shocked though. I was sitting there like, no way. It was that's one of the craziest games I've seen. That's
one of the weirdest plays I've seen. I'm glad that you brought that up. We need the internet to give us their thoughts on that play. Quentin, I'm so appreciative of your time. Enjoy any new anime stuff I need to see around your room before we let you go. Any new stuff?
I do actually. Let's see these glowing things?
Yeah, what is that?
Cool, right? They're just a bunch of different characters I got. They light up, adds a little flair to the room.
You're not a little scared those come alive at night? That's my biggest fear.
Imagine that though. I would probably be scared if it were like Halloween or something.
Well, it's night at the museum vibes in there.
I know. At night they don't move unless they move when I'm not paying attention.
It's giving Toy Story, and I'm scared. But you're the best, and you're very scary, and you're not scared of any quarterback in your division. That's what I learned. And good luck as you guys load up for Super Bowl 61.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And by the way, congrats on. Hold on, don't let him go yet, please. Your season. Do we even get to this? First career interception. I'm at 3 if we want to show that. I think we have your regular season. No, first career forced fumble. Career highs in pass breakups and tackles for loss, Quentin, even though you missed time with his elbow.
Yeah. Congrats
on the extension. This is really incredible. What are you most proud of on this list?
It's not even, obviously the interception is nice to be able to have, the statistics, but outside of the statistics, I'll say to be able to even come back and play in the postseason. I'm so thankful. Obviously, I thank God every day, but for the training staff, for my coaches and believing me, that was one of the biggest things. I was like, man, I'm just so grateful and so blessed to be able to come back and play meaningful football in January, play the Panthers, play the Bears, and then, got the chance to play in the NFC Championship after, it was a tough injury too. I was very, very thankful for that.
That injury cost you a Super Bowl.
Yo, really? Are we for real?
No, by the way, Ernest Jones on the show tomorrow, your boy. You're the best. You have a 3-year extension. You got 3 years. Go in the Super Bowl. I'm trying to motivate you, Quentin, and we'll be back tomorrow.